Welcome back to Replic Ones. This is Michael Morrell. It's August 26, 2024, and we're back for another market update. Okay, let's take a look. Bitcoin still in the range. We've popped a little bit high over the last week or so, and we're seeing it approach the upper range again. So I've drawn these trend lines. It's an expanding flag, so to say, whatever you want to call it. And volatility just keeps expanding, and it's got to break out at some point here. When you look at the entire context here, and I'll explain these two lines in a moment. We're looking at the daily chart, and wow, I mean, it's just not been fun, right? I mean, going all the way back here. We've had this nice ramp higher in 2023. We talked about it last week. And then in March, you just hit a wall around 72,000. If it breaks higher, I'd say the inflection point for us is really actually where the weekly expected move range is, which is right here. And if we zoom in a little bit here, I'm calculating the expected move ranges for each week. Let me show you real quick. I've got a spreadsheet, and I was thinking about it last week when I posted the update, and I was thinking, well, a lot of people are looking at different coins, and there's no way I can really look at the first 20 or even first 30 altcoins out there and provide you with all the ranges. I've actually done a little bit of that for this week. We're going to look at a few, but I have scanners running, and when there's breakouts, I look at them, of course, but this is my sheet, this is my cheat sheet, so to say, and this is really what I go by, right? And so I calculate these, and I've put this together under a URL now, which you're going to be able to access, right? It's under bit.ly and then /crypto_EM, like in Mike, Echo Mike, _ranges, right? EM stands for expected move, of course. And basically, I've got the first, what do we have here? 240. I'll go by liquidity, so anything over a certain threshold, under a certain threshold, I just kick out. But I've got everything here. I'm looking at the futures actually in terms of the liquidity and then the upper and lower ranges for the week. So just FYI, take a look at that, and you can correlate it. Okay, we're going to actually use this as a guide because I also have scanners running, by the way. Let me move a few things around my other screen so I can pop that up. I have my trusted scanners running. I've got scanners and everything. I hope you can see that in the video. Let me resize it a little bit. And yeah, I've got scanners here that I've got running, and they run 24/7 and provide me these handy reports on a constant basis. So I'm getting actually the upper and lower expected move breaches. I get alerts, and a few popped up this week. So we're going to look at that. Okay, so just FYI what this range represents. We talked about it last week. It's basically the standard deviation of the expected move based on historical volatility. I cannot really pull implied volatility yet. It's coming, but for now, it's the poor man's approach to plotting this, and I think it's actually quite spot on. Okay, so just FYI what this range is. And technically speaking, I mean, there's really not much else to be said, honestly. I mean, I could talk my way in circles here, but this range has to be broken at some point. And it's expanding, and that means that a big move is coming, right? Because obviously volatility is picking up, it's not slowing down. I mean, look at these ranges here on a weekly basis, and that's also why the expected move range is so high. I mean, look at that. We're basically between, 58,000 and 70,000? Something like that. I mean, that's quite a range, right? I mean, that's a 12,000 handle range, and wow, that ain't no fun, right? So until we pick a direction here, we're just going to keep bouncing. It's a good policy to just buy here and sell up here until we probably breach 70,000. I think that's really an inflection point at this time. Will this one be breached this week? I've got my doubts. But yeah, let's take a look at the other ones real quick. All right, let's look at Ethereum. I already drew it there. I've drawn it there as well, the expected move range, and you can tell it's even larger. Here we are between 3,063 and 2,425. I mean, that's pretty massive, right? Obviously, based on the volatility we've seen here, we've been experiencing over the last 30 days especially, right? So that's actually what it's based on, last 30 days. And it's just been moving. And it's picking up, but not as much as Bitcoin. And we probably can see that by just, again, revisiting our trusted Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Okay, let's go there. See, still working its way down. So Ethereum, let me reset this real quick. Right here, okay. So yeah, not looking so good, right? And again, volatility is even picking up here as well. So let's look at total 2 and total 3. So altcoins, this is basically without Bitcoin. And well, you know, better than you would think, right? Given that Ethereum isn't really doing so great. It's picking up. I think it's following suit along with Bitcoin. So not too bad. Let's take a look at just total 3, which is just altcoins. Yeah. So it seems like, yeah, actually Ethereum is dragging this one down. Yeah. Right? A little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. But altcoins are not looking so bad. So we're going to look at a few. I've shown you that trusted scanner. Where is it? Right here. That I've got running. You can see it on the screen probably here. This is a report. I found it. That was actually from last week. So this is August 26th, which is, well, it's today. Actually, and I see these expected move ranges. Let's go back to the spreadsheet that I showed you. So I'm going to move this over here for a second again. This is what we're looking at. I got tons of them, quite a few breakouts. You can see the previous dates here. This was from the previous day. Similar, yeah. So it actually broke out on Sunday already. But let's look at this report right here. And I'm just going to work my way down. I'm going to move it from the screen. But if you want to take note of that, you can pause the video. Let me scroll down real quick here, a little bit slow for you. Okay, you can see that. There, these are the ones that broke out. All right, and I'm going to read it from this little cheat sheet that I put together. Again, this is available to you on Bitly, crypto EM ranges. Expected move. EM stands for expected move. Okay, so all you have to do really, if you want to look for particular, let's say you look for Matic, right? Just type in Matic, boom, right? You can find it right down here. This is the green is upper, the red is still lower, and then you can plot it on the chart. The way I do that usually, well, I'll show you. I've painted a few, but let's just work our way down here, okay? All right, let's start with, okay, I have to move this off screen. Let me get organized. All right, so we're starting with lever. So lever, USDT. There you go. Okay, so that's what I've done, right? I've drawn these expected move ranges on the chart that tells us where we are. So why did I do this? Because I think this is actually a great setup because all these are breakout candidates, right? They've moved very fast. The sector, the altcoin sector, and Bitcoin seems to be leading a little bit right now. So what is going to happen? Most likely we're going to see a pullback. And what I would love to see is something where it pulls back to, let me zoom in a little bit more, right? So you can see this. So it pulls down potentially towards this right here, okay? I mean, it's probably the worst candidate to read because it's like so many zeros, but like towards 0019, right? Or 3, somewhere around here, right? Okay, and you draw them on the chart. I'm going to show you how to do this very quickly with the ones that are missing. And those are great entry ranges because the odds of it bouncing from here and continuing higher are actually quite high. So that's a good play, and that's probably what I would be looking at for this week if you're just trading them on a discretionary basis, okay? So here's lever. Take a look at the levels, okay? And again, you can find them on this sheet that I showed you for the, for the 10th time. This trusted sheet right here. So you look them up right here, okay? And yeah, right there. So look them up here, search for them, and then plot them on there, which is very simple. Just use horizontal lines, and that's very quickly done. Okay, so that's lever. Let me go through the list. RSR, what's the next one? Yeah, here, okay. RSR USDT, exactly. I didn't actually type it. And a little bit more of a tight range. This is the volatility has been a little bit lower, right? I mean, but it's advancing nicely. I really like this, right? How it worked its way up. Also, what I like is that it broke the series of lower lows and lower highs that it maintained right here. It started here, right? Working its way lower. So that those lower highs have been broken now. And actually that kind of coincidence is now, right now, if we kind of pull back to here, that would be a nice retest of that vertical that, I don't want to draw it right now, but okay, let me draw it. I'll do it for you. All right. So let's say we're drawing this down here, right? Okay, approximately. Okay, it's a little bit lower to be honest. Yeah. I think that if it works its way down to here, yeah, that's a good point for a bounce, right? Maybe it'll step down a little bit, you know. Of course, there's never any guarantee, right? I mean, who knows? Next, RVN. Did I do this one? RVN, USDT. Yeah, I started working my way down the list, and at some point I just said, screw it. I'm just going to give these guys the actual list here so they can look it up. And again, every week I'm going to update this list so you can actually find it yourself, right? So if you look in the coin, look at the list, again, expect under Bitly, the one I showed you, and then just look it up, okay? So again, it's right here for the 10th time, 20th time now. Bitly, crypto, EM ranges. Got it? Okay. Cool. So I drew them already on there, and that's RVN. Again, similar setup, right? And I actually would like to look at some of the more common coins, like one. Okay. All right, I've drawn there as well. Okay. And next, Gala, that pops up once in a while on my radar. There you go. Okay, here we haven't drawn it, and I'm gonna actually do it for you. So, let's do it together. So it's very simple. You just go over here, and then you just basically do find, right? Go in Gala, right there. Then you click on this, you copy it into your buffer, into copy paste, and then you go here and type. Well, on the Mac, it's Option H for horizontal line, right? Not sure what it is on Windows. I haven't tried it. So you basically. You don't even have to move it around. You just double click it, go to coordinates, and then paste it in. Boom, done, right? And next one, copy here, right? Again, I'm copying this value right here. And then same thing. I go Command H, double click the line, coordinates, boom. So, actually did this quite nicely, huh? Almost got it spot on. Again, nice range here. That's our weekly range. And here the threshold is around here, which roughly lines up with this. I think I probably would say, honestly, I probably would go to here, somewhere around here, 189. So 0019, right? I think that's a nice threshold for a bounce here. So keep an eye on that, okay? What else? What else do we have? Matic, of course, yeah. So Matic, quite a range. I've drawn this already, right? And here we're looking at 0.45 potentially. It's a little bit low. I think I probably, well, maybe, yeah. I mean, this is quite a step lower. So this thing has been moving a lot. Keep an eye on it. Look at volatility. But I definitely want to see a little bit more of a pullback, profit taking, which is already taking place. Okay. What else we got? People, Matic, ATA, Algorand, yes. Definitely Algo. Okay. Okay, here we go. Again, drawn it already. 0.127-ish. That's what I'm looking at. Lines up very nicely, by the way, with this one. I think I probably, honestly, I would probably prefer the setup here, if I can choose, right? Because it lines up also technically speaking. So this has a fairly high chance to bounce here if it pulls back. So FTM, definitely. Let's do this one. I haven't prepared this one, so we're going to have to do it together. So again, let's do it together. FTM USDT, and boom, bing, bang, boom. Okay, here we go. Double click, paste, okay, and then the next one. Okay, and again, do it this way, and boom, and we're done, right? Quite a range, but again, this lines up nicely, the low one. So if we see a pullback somewhere around to 0.43-ish, okay? So you're getting the idea. I think I'm gonna kind of leave it at this point. I'm gonna talk about this in a second, actually. And yeah, I think this is really a good approach for this week specifically, since, I mean, there's always reasons to look at the expected move range, right? But specifically this week, after a run last week, and it's been running for the last few weeks, right, on the altcoin sector. And a pullback here would be really, really, really nice. And it's probably to be expected after so much upside progress. I don't think it's just going to continue higher. Nothing moves ever in the market in a straight line. We can expect a pullback. And yeah, keep an eye on all those, right? You've seen the list in the beginning. I can put it on the screen one more time. Those are the ones that moved last week, right? Let me actually pull up the Sunday one, just so we have the Sunday ones, because those are the ones that breached last week's expected move range. Lever, RSR, RVN, ASTR, NKN, CELR, very common. We used to see BMX and so on, right? People, Matic, Algo, ATA, yeah, all pretty decent coins. FTM, obviously, AI, Cyber, ARKM, Arkham, right? Badger, Cake, what else? SDX, Near, definitely. Mover, Near, KSM, eGold, AVAX. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Hey, you want to take a look at AVAX real quick? Let's do it. Let's do it together. This one I'd like to see myself. AVAX USDT. There you go. Oh yeah, nice mover. Okay, let's look it up on our spreadsheet if I can find it. Yeah. All right. Okay, AVAX. Here we go. Right up here. All right, 30 and change. Okay, bing, bang, boom. And there you go. And then the lower one. All right, there you go. And it's really quick. I mean, it sounds more... I wish there was a way to automate this. I've really looked into actually creating charts via Python, right? With TradingView, where you can just create a link or something. Nothing doing. Oh, this would be so much. That would save me so much work. If anyone knows, I mean, I'm a pretty fair hacker, and I haven't been able to find anything. I think there's probably some API access you probably have to pay a lot of money for, but yeah, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so this is, yeah, this looks pretty decent too for AVAX. I like how this lines up here and here. See, lines up actually almost perfectly. So yeah, a pullback to about 23 and like 23.5, but honestly, I think I probably would get active around 24. Yeah, if it pulls back to that. So this looks pretty good. All right, one more thing. I was already showing you this. It's my crypto season indicator, my crypto season signal, which I have running in Rocket Chat right here. Every day people get reports, right? Is the date, here's basically what season it is. Is it cash season? Is it Bitcoin season or Ethereum season, or is it altcoin season, right? So we've got 4 seasons. Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoin. And, well, for now we're in cash, at least based on this very conservative setting. And the way I determine that is actually by, well, 4 different charts. One is, well, I built it myself. This is a signal based on the Kalman filter. I've used that for Gravitas very effectively right here. And you can see how it kind of works. It's much more resilient than like an expected move would be, an expected move indicator, for example, right? Or anything like that. So this is basically for Bitcoin USDT. This is for Ethereum. This is for Ethereum Bitcoin, which I'm also using to determine which one is stronger, Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then finally, I had to actually recreate this because you probably remember I just showed at the beginning of the video, total 3. But that's not really a feed that you can get anywhere, right? This is based on TradingView's internal setup. And I've looked up the algo that they used to calculate it, and I recreated it. And if you look at it right now, you can probably see it. It's actually a complete match. It's the first 125 coins based on liquidity, and that's what it's using to determine what the altcoin sector is doing. Total 3, right? So I'm using all that, and I mix it all together in a with my quantum magic, and this is what comes out. Stuff like that. I'm still refining it, and one of the things I've also been fairly aggressive about is considering slippage, because if you, for instance, go from Bitcoin season to Ethereum season, you're swapping, you can probably expect somewhere in between, I don't know, 1 to 2% in slippage, right? So I'm actually adding that in when I calculate my cumulative. And for altcoin season, I'm actually considering a lot higher slippage, up to 10% actually. Why so high? Because if you are in altcoin season, you're not going to just stay in like a handful of coins. You're probably going to be swapping them every few days, probably every week at least. And so you'll incur slippage. And I thought 10%, it's pretty ample, but it's probably fairly realistic depending on which coins you're slinging. So it's the best way for me to really be honest about it, because a lot of people build these systems and then they're really not honest about it. They go by the raw numbers. They don't consider slippage, that kind of stuff, right? So also, make sure you don't employ forward bias. Make sure that the signal really lines up, right? That you look at a signal and take action the day after, for example. So I have several settings running. I mean, it's just crazy. This is starting at $1,000. That's over the last 4 years, right? This is fairly busy. This would work very well, but you would be slinging coins every 3-4 days, like, switching back and forth between different seasons, and I don't like that, right? I don't want to be trading a system where I have to sling coins like every 2 or 3 days. No. Now, for something like this, that would be too busy. So I'm still playing with this to come up with a perfect system, but it's really looking very good so far. Different, it's a bit more volatility here. This trades more rarely. Yeah, and you have some drawdowns in once in a while, but basically my max will be 5%. The final setting will be something that's, that's very resilient, something like this. All right. So, okay, I just want to show this to you guys. It's really promising, and I'll be slowly folding it into this signal here. Right now, it's running a much more conservative signal, and this one still has us in cash. The more aggressive ones have us already in Bitcoin or Ethereum, based on what has happened over the last week or so, since we've been moving a lot. Okay, so that's basically all I got for this week. I hope it was informative and keeps you ahead of the tape. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.